From WLWT, this is Let's Talk Cincy, presented by Western and Southern Financial Group. Put our financial strength behind you.
Greater Cincinnati is home to 6 Fortune 500 companies. Each one plays a vital role in providing jobs and services to our community. Hello, everyone. I'm Curtis Fuller, and welcome to Let's Talk Cincy. Besides the economic boost, these companies give back to our area through various ways, including financially, as well as volunteering their time and expertise. Western and Southern Financial Group was established in 1888 here in the Queen City. The company was started to provide weekly premium life insurance that individual workers could afford. Western and Southern's total revenue in 2019 was more than $5 billion. Now, in addition, the company has made a significant investment in the people and organizations of the greater Cincinnati community over the years. One organization has had an 81-year relationship with Western and Southern. That organization is the Salvation Army. And the connection is most noticeable this time of year because of the very popular Crib of the Nativity. I talked with the president and CEO of Western and Southern, John Barrett, about the long-standing Cincinnati tradition.
It all started in 1937. The CEO of the company then, Mr. Charles F. Williams, and his wife were driving through Kentucky, and they saw a life-size Crib of the Nativity in a guy's farm. His name was Hager. So they got out, walked up, introduced themselves, and a conversation ensued. And they went back the next year, 1938, and it was there again, and they talked about it. And Mr. Williams convinced him to come down to build one right in back of our company, which would have been on 5th Street in Broadway. And they put it there. And he used wood, animals, everything from his farm. So those guys started that. And then the next year, 1939, they were at Lytle Park, and was there for a couple of years. Then World War II broke out, and Mr. Williams at the time was worried about the whole Hitler influence. So he thought the Crib was a wonderful offset to it. And he moved it over to Union Terminal for the rest of the war to welcome the soldiers back home after they'd been to the front. And, we were heavily involved with both fighting in both Germany and the fight in Europe, and also fight in the Pacific. So there were military guys everywhere. And he thought it would give them a nice respite when they came back and came through Cincinnati. Then after the war, it came back to Lytle Park. We've been using the same wood, not the same animals, but the same family. So the Biedenhorn family, and they worked for the Hagers back then, picked it up, and they've been doing this now forever. And so, maybe 1967, I think, it moved from Lytle Park up to the Crone Conservatory. And it's been there ever since. We used to go as a family and visit the Crib, like sometimes before or after midnight mass, both Lytle Park and then later up at the Crone Conservatory. But a lot of people did, a lot of families did. And one of the things, I was gone from Cincinnati for 16 years. I was living up in the New York area. And when I came home, I came back to Western Southern. I noticed that some of the traditions in Cincinnati had slipped. And so, so many things had changed. Coney Island was basically gone as we knew it, just stuff. And the management of the company at the time wanted to keep the Crib going. And there was a lot of pressure to stop it. The secular world wanted to get rid of it, that kind of stuff. But there are a lot of families who just really enjoy it. And we also got tied up with the Salvation Army years and years ago. And, their money really goes to the most in need in our community. Here's a great year with nobody shopping in stores. Those kettles are going to be empty. So we do accept donations up at the Crib, and then we will double whatever we collect. If they collect 1,000, we'll add 1,000 for their donations during the Christmas holidays. Many charitable organizations come and go, not the Salvation Army. And it's a bedrock of social service agencies, and it spawns off some of the best services going. And they've always taken care of the homeless, always. They've always taken very good care of people. And it's it's like a vocation. It's like going into religious order. The people in that world just believe in what they're doing. They're certainly not in it for the money. And they do a wonderful job for people who can't take care of themselves. So, yeah, it is personal in that I want to make Cincinnati the finest city you can possibly live in. I was explaining this to a guy in New York the other day who runs one of the great big accounting firms. And I said, you ought to open up a bigger regional office here, because your people who now are working from home in New York could come into a working environment and have a wonderful life here without all the hassles. And he said, oh, no, everybody wants to be in New York. Why, the average age of our employees is 27. I'm thinking, boy, I'm paying too much if they're 27. But long story short, we offer a better quality of life. We got all the stuff the big cities do without all the hassles the big cities have. This is the best place in the world. And our goal as a company and our management team is to make sure people realize that.
Now, John Barrett is one of the Tri-State's most influential leaders. In naming Barrett one of the top leaders, Cincy Magazine noted his success in several areas: downtown Cincinnati development, cancer research, fundraising, and the financial services industry. More of my conversation with John Barrett a little bit later in the program. Up next, the culture of giving back starts at the top. Why supporting local organizations is important to Western and Southern.
WLWT, this is Let's Talk Cincy, presented by Western and Southern Financial Group. Put our financial strength behind you.
Western and Southern has been a long supporter of local organizations and causes, and that spirit of giving back is ingrained within the company.
Western and Southern was founded in downtown Cincinnati over 130 years ago. It's because of the dedicated and loyal employees and the fine leadership that it has been successful. And it's because of all of that it's important that we give back as an organization.
Is get everybody involved. We have 21 or 2 very senior officers. They all serve on community or charitable boards. And we try not to do the flavor of the day, but to rather support things that are going to be meaningful for a long time and make a favorable impact on the most people possible. And I think it's going really, really well.
Within the last 5 years, Western Southern has donated over $50 million to organizations in greater Cincinnati, to approximately 300 different organizations. Volunteerism is extremely important. It's extremely important for those that have needs in our region, and it's also important that people that are part of your company or your community feel that they're making the community a better one by volunteering. And of course, whenever one volunteers, you always feel good about what it accomplishes.
Absolutely. Those are some great words to remember. Now, when we come back, the crib of the Nativity, how the longtime Christmas tradition is continuing to support the work of the Salvation Army.
WT, this is Let's Talk Cincy.
Welcome back, everyone. Like many companies in our area, Western and Southern is committed to serving Greater Cincinnati. That commitment and spirit to help others actually starts with the company leadership. Let me share the story of one executive who learned at an early age the meaning of service to others.
Cincinnati is a caring community, and I'm certainly hopeful they'll come through for those in need once again this year and use the Salvation Army as a way of helping others. I grew up in a family of 7. We had a humble home. I remember vividly going out shopping at Christmas time with my mother. She would stop when she heard the bell ringing. She'd reach into her purse and pull out whatever coins she had, and she'd ask me to put them in the kettle. That instilled in me a desire to give to others. This is something that's ingrained in the culture of Western and Southern Financial Group.
People look to the Salvation Army for help. When there's no one else to turn to, they look to the Salvation Army. We meet with people, we listen to their stories, we try to make a difference. We can provide them with the necessities to have a really great holiday together with the family. And we couldn't do what we're doing without the strong support from Western and Southern. They're a company with a very big heart and is very committed to the well-being of others in the greater Cincinnati community.
As far back as 1939, Western Southern has sponsored a live crib of nativity at Eden Park. And the Salvation Army would bring its band and be part of the dedication services. Western Southern has been matching the amount collected in a kettle at the crib of nativity, and it continues to this day.
Western and Southern has been really a great partner during the holiday season. They've sponsored Adopt a Family programs, gifts for Adopt a Senior program that we have. They have held the Crib of the Nativity for some 81 years. It's the signal that Christmas is around the corner. Whenever there's a need that's demonstrated to Western and Southern, they always find a way to step up and get involved and be very generous. Their leadership is there, executive members of their staff that are on our advisory board and serve on various committees. Western Southern is deeply committed to this community.
The event that I enjoy the most with the Salvation Army has been sponsoring and ringing a bell at a kettle, having my family and friends join me to raise money for the Army. I've also enjoyed being at the Army on Thanksgiving Day and serving Thanksgiving dinner to those that might otherwise not have a dinner at home.
This is an unusual year. Volunteer opportunities will be available, but they're different than they've been in past years because of the safety precautions with COVID. You'll find lots of opportunities to give, to volunteer, host a virtual kettle, and push that information out to their social network. And we will get through this together. We will rescue Christmas and have a great holiday season for many, many people in this area.
Well, we've been talking a lot about that long-standing partnership the Salvation Army has with Western and Southern. As you heard, COVID-19 has made this year very challenging for the organization as more and more citizens need assistance to just survive. I talked with the divisional commander here in Cincinnati about operating during this pandemic and the organization's strong support from Western and Southern.
Well, it attracts a lot of people to just go to the park, to see the Crib of the Nativity, to be reminded of the real reason of Christmas. It's the celebration of Jesus' birth. Strong connection to the community through Western and Southern to sponsor that. A simple donation box that is there that you can connect with people to help them at Christmas time. And Western and Southern matches dollar for dollar that is dropped in that box. And over those 81 years, it's a lot of money. And it's just a very meaningful event that happens every year. And it's important that it happened this year. Now it's going to look and feel a little different, but it's going to happen. And we need to keep those traditions going and alive and continue helping people. This is a great community with a big heart. And people need help, and the community will respond to help them. Salvation Army started in London, England in 1865. It came to the United States in 1880. It's been in Cincinnati for over 130 years. In America, we service people in need in every zip code in the United States of America, and certainly here in Greater Cincinnati, a lot of people come to the Salvation Army for help. We have the longest continually operated shelter for women and children in Hamilton County. We house 250 senior citizens in very safe, clean, affordable housing. We have after-school programs for children. In the first 3 or 4 months of this year during the COVID period, we had served more meals in those first 4 months than we did in the entire year prior because of the need. There's tremendous need, and the Salvation Army is there, and we'll do what we can to help people. And we couldn't do it without the support of Western and Southern, and your TV station, your viewers, the donors. It's the community coming together, working together collaboratively that makes a huge difference in the quality of life that we can enjoy and appreciate here in Greater Cincinnati. It is just a challenging time, but we're committed to doing it and doing it in a safe and responsible way. People have always come to the support of others in their time of greatest need. And I believe that will happen in Cincinnati and all over the country this year during this holiday season. It's the American way. It's how people give. It's the compassion that wants to make sure that everyone has what they need to get through the holiday season. It's going to look different. It's going to feel different, but it's Christmas at its best. And the Salvation Army is here to rescue Christmas for as many people as we can. And I think the community will get behind us and support us, and we'll find a way to help many, many people this Christmas season. But I can tell you, Curtis, I have delivered things to people's homes during the Christmas season, not because, just because out of sheer necessity. There was no other way for them to get Christmas unless you put the items in your car and drove it to them. And when you walk into the home and you see such little there, people living in poverty, and if it weren't for the Salvation Army and our donors stepping in to make Christmas what it is, it just wouldn't happen. And I've seen that with my own eyes. And we go and we are the hands and feet of compassion at Christmas time. And it's companies like Western and Southern that invest heavily in us during this time of year that allows this kind of work to go on. There's a lot of people unemployed right now, and one paycheck away from, being on the street. And there's pretty dire consequences for people. And the Salvation Army is a safety net in the community. We're doing our best to prevent that from happening. So we'll do whatever it takes and to connect with people and to find a way to help them. The kettles will be out and about, but it's done with a lot of safety protocols in place. They'll be there. You might not see as many of them. It really is quite challenging to get people that will go out and volunteer this year. Our corporate partners are allowing them, but they have to be, in certain spots and certain safety and cleanliness protocols. And so we're there. And a lot of people, what's happening, a lot of people are taking advantage of the giving virtually. You can set up a virtual kettle, and you can do it through your social network. And Curtis, you can set up a virtual kettle, and your network can provide whatever they'd like in donations to the Salvation Army, and you do it electronically. And you don't have to go to the kettle at Kroger or at Walmart. You can do it from your computer or from your iPhone. And it's a great way to give. And we're seeing more dollars come to us this year through our virtual kettle than we've ever seen before, which is really, heartwarming.
That is heartwarming. And when you think about the Salvation Army being that safety net for our entire community, what a blessing that organization is. Well, up next, the story behind the Western and Southern connection to one of the city's major charitable events when Let's Talk Cincy continues. Finally today, for more than a decade, one event has taken place that organizers say has always been more than a cycling event for those that take part in it. It's called Ride Cincinnati, and like so many other events this year, the event was virtual. And although Ride Cincinnati was a little different in 2020, the mission to raise money for cancer research remained the same.
Well, Ride Cincinnati is about, 12 years, 13, 14 years ago. A dentist, Dr. Harvey Harris, lost his wife to cancer. And they knew my wife was a cancer survivor. And they contacted her and said, we'd like to do a community bike ride, raise some money for cancer research. And it started out, probably had a couple hundred people. raised a little bit of money. But then as time went by, we expanded it and expanded it and expanded it. I think now we've raised more than $5 million for cancer research in the greater Cincinnati area. And last year, actually now it'd be 2 rides ago, because the last ride was virtual, we opened it up so that if a person wanted the money to go to another cancer center, as long as it was going to go for research, we said fine. And we got a number of the local hospitals to also get involved. And so it's now truly a community ride. And the Barrett Center is near and dear to my heart. It was named after my dad. He arranged for the first $9 million to get it started by talking to both a Republican and a Democratic governor to get them to help us get a state of Ohio money in here. And since my father's passing, we at Western Southern have put in about another $20 million. And, it's like over these years. And the reason is cancer affects 1 out of 2 men and 1 out of 3 women in greater Cincinnati. Your odds of getting it are very high here. And we've worked with a number of the household names, Procter & Gamble, Fifth Third, Cintas, to raise money, Cincinnati Financial, to make the cancer center really good. And that money is coming in and it's going great. So people are going to benefit in, a few years from the wonderful work that's already been done.
Over the years, I've had the opportunity to talk to John Barrett about a number of topics. And one thing is that I know he loves this town. In fact, he told me many times about his dad taking him around the city, just showing him important landmarks and showing him different communities and the importance of Cincinnati. And that's why he gives back. I've also worked with him on education because John Barrett has made education a top priority for the company. Each year, Western and Southern awards $10,000 to the person selected Educator of the Year in the Cincinnati Public School District. In addition, for more than a quarter century, he has helped raise millions of dollars for scholarships to support local students through the Cincinnati Scholarship Foundation. Well, that does it for this edition of Let's Talk Cincy. Thanks for joining me. Have a nice day.